Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest gaming news. And Xbox continues to release a lot of news heading into that big Xbox Series X event. Today with some Xbox Game Pass news, as they have officially revealed the second wave of Xbox Game Pass games for the month of July. And we got some pretty good games here to look forward to. So we will talk about that here in just a moment. And also Sony is planning on a huge holiday for the PlayStation 5. This will be great news for fans looking to buy a PlayStation 5 this holiday, so stay tuned for that as well. Before we get into that though, first let's go over some of the quick news, starting off with Paper Mario Origami King. Yes, Paper Mario Origami King reviews has started to roll out, and thankfully, it looks like this will be a very good Paper Mario game. As of right now, it is sitting at an 81 overall score on Metacritic, which makes it the highest rated Paper Mario game since Super Paper Mario on the Wii. Now that game came out 13 years ago, so it is really good to see Origami King this well received. Though unfortunately, it does not seem to reach that same high peak as the first two games did in the franchise like some of us wanted. Most reviewers do seem to love the world, the writing, and its characters in Origami King, but the one consistent critique that I have been seeing with this game is the combat system. On the positive side of things, the ring-based combat system apparently is a lot of fun, but because for whatever reason Nintendo decided not to include experience points, the combat can feel pointless at times. In fact, it seems many reviewers were saying they would try to flat out avoid battles the more they played it. Again though, the combat does seem like it's a lot of fun, but it's just not always worth it. I honestly really don't know why Nintendo did not just include experience points here, but overall it does sound like it's a really good game, and hopefully you're looking forward to it. I know I am, and I already have it pre-ordered and ready to play this Friday. And speaking of Nintendo, those Nintendo Direct rumors continue to grow as we head into next week. The thing is, Paper Mario Origami King is actually the last Nintendo developed game that we know a release date for. And that's very odd, especially with 5 months still to go in 2020. Obviously, Nintendo has to have some games planned for the rest of the year, especially during the holiday. Well, it looks like some leaks are starting to come out on those 3D Mario remastered games. These games, of course, have been widely reported on over the last couple months by several major news outlets that have gotten this information by trusted sources. So, I mean, these games are all but confirmed by this point. Now though, the insider Zippo, which has leaked Nintendo Directs in the past accurately, is giving some new information on these 3D Mario games. Zippo claims that Mario 64 will be a slightly better looking game than the original and will have widescreen support, which is actually kind of nice. That will be the first time for Mario 64 if I'm correct. Mario Galaxy and Mario Sunshine though will more or less just be an up-res version, so he does caution not to have your expectations too high there. Honestly, I'm just happy they're coming to the Switch at all, so I'm not really worried about that. With that said though, the Mario 3D World games sounds like they will be adding some new cool stuff to those, so that is really nice to hear. He even kind of teases at the end of this post that we will be seeing these next week, which just adds more fuel to the fire that there will actually be a new Nintendo Direct next week. Right now people are claiming the 20th, but we'll see. I'm not really completely convinced that they will do a Nintendo Direct next week. They very well could just do a random trailer like they did with the Origami King, though I would be super happy if these leaks do turn out to be true. I just don't want to sit here and say it's confirmed, so just take this news with a grain of salt. What do you think though? Do you think a Nintendo Direct really will happen next week or not? Let me know in the comments below. Moving on, we got a quick game update because Tamarin finally got a release window, and it's coming very soon. Yeah, it will be available in August for the PlayStation 4 and PC. It will be available for the Xbox One as well later on, but as for this moment, there is no release date for Xbox. And right away, I know most of you probably are not even aware of what Tamarin is. Tamarin is actually a spiritual successor to Rare's old Nintendo 64 game, Jet Force Gemini. While Jet Force Gemini may not be as popular as some of Rare's other games of that era, such as Banjo-Kazooie, Conker, and Perfect Dark, Jet Force Gemini was actually a really good game. It was a third-person shooter with platforming mechanics thrown in, and Tamarin is very similar to that, and in fact it has several old Rare developers working on this game. You can really tell too because the enemies look like a carbon copy of Jet Force Gemini, but I'm okay with that personally. I pre-ordered this game as soon as they announced it last year, and if you like Rare's old games or Jet Force Gemini, you might want to keep an eye out for Tamarin. Also, we got some good news for you fans of Dragon's Dogma, which in my opinion is one of the most criminally underrated RPGs of recent years. Dragon's Dogma has had some success, selling more than 4 million copies worldwide across all devices, and fans have been wanting a sequel for years. It does have a lot of potential on becoming a staple franchise for Capcom, but for whatever reason they have not done much with this franchise outside of the original game. Now they did do some remasters and an MMO, but I mean people really want to see a sequel. Now though they have announced a Netflix original show for Dragon's Dogma. This does follow the success of the Castlevania show on Netflix, but this is a very surprising announcement, and goes to show you that Capcom has not completely forgotten about Dragon's Dogma. It begs the question, do you think Capcom may be thinking about making a brand new Dragon's Dogma game? It would make perfect sense to raise brand awareness if you're planning on a sequel, but you know this is all just speculation for right now. I certainly hope they do try to make another game, but yeah, Capcom seems to be at the very least thinking about the franchise. In the meantime, if you want to watch the show on Netflix, it will be available in September. In other news, let's talk about Xbox Game Pass. I always love getting new updates on Xbox Game Pass because, well, I'm actually a really big fan of Xbox Game Pass myself, and yeah, they have officially announced the second wave of July games for this brilliant subscription service. So over the second half of July, you can look forward to playing Mount & Blade Warband, Nowhere Prophet, Carry On, Forager, Golf with Your Friends, The Taurus, Grounded, and the big one, Yakuza Kiwami 2. I will have a picture on the screen to show which platform each will be available for, console, PC, or both. Now, we actually did talk about Yakuza Kiwami 2 coming to Xbox Game Pass just a few days ago, and truly that is a must-play game, and I can't emphasize that enough, especially if you like story-driven games. Both Yakuza 0 and the first Kiwami are available on Xbox Game Pass right now, and 0 in specific is actually one of the best story-driven games that I have ever played, so if you haven't played those already, definitely do so. Kiwami 2, though, will be available on July 30th for both console and PC. There are some other interesting titles coming with this update too. Obsidian Entertainment will officially be releasing their first Xbox Studios game with Grounded. It will be an early access game though, but I did play this game for myself last month, and it's a pretty solid game. Obviously, it is a smaller game with Obsidian only dedicating a small team to this project, but it was a passion project for those working on it, and you can really tell. It is a survival type game with a Honey I Shrunk the Kids twist, but one thing that really stands out with Grounded is that there are some story elements to it. I'm not saying that it will be some great fascinating story or anything like that, but it seems a little bit more focused than some other survival games. Then you have Taurus and Carry On, which I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that game wrong, but both of those games look really fun as well, and I'm hearing good things about Forager too. I haven't played that one for myself, but yeah, once again, this looks like another good month for Xbox Game Pass. You have to remember that they already added games like Soul Calibur 6, Fallout 76, and Crosscode for the month of July, so there is a lot of really good games to check out here. In fact, I've been playing Crosscode myself, and I have to say that is a game that you should really go check out. I think fans are overlooking it, but I am shocked by how good it actually is. I haven't gotten too far into it just yet, but based off what I have played, I would highly recommend Crosscode. And that right there is exactly why I love Xbox Game Pass so much. It introduces me to all kinds of new great games that I may have missed otherwise, and hopefully it does something similar for you as well. I will ask you though, if you have Xbox Game Pass, what game are you looking forward to playing the most in the month of July? Let me know in the comments below. On to our last bit of news though, Sony has made a change of plans with the PlayStation 5. It was reported earlier this year that Sony was going to be shipping out about 5 to 6 million PlayStation 5 units by the end of the fiscal year, which would be by March 31st, 2021. This was believed to be because of manufacturing issues with all of the things happening in the world right now, but I said right away that would sell out immediately. It's not some big secret that PlayStation is a huge brand, and honestly, I do not think 5 to 6 million units in that time frame would be great for consumers, because honestly, I think it would be very hard to get a PlayStation 5 with just that amount. You have to remember that the PlayStation 4 shipped out 7.5 million units in the same time frame, and it was not easy to get a PlayStation 4 at launch either. Well, thankfully, it looks like Sony has made a change of plans due to increased demand for games right now, and they are looking to produce 9 to 10 million PlayStation 5s by the end of 2020. They are expecting to finish production of 5 million units by September and another 5 million between October and December. Now keep in mind this is just production and not actually shipping, so even though the PlayStation 5 will have produced around 10 million consoles by the end of 2020, that does not necessarily mean that they will ship out all 10 million by the end of 2020. There are retailer supply constraints, so you should still expect the PlayStation 5 to be limited during the holiday as shoppers rush out to buy it, but they will likely have a steady stream of supply ready. So my recommendation is still the same. If you do want the PlayStation 5 at launch, I would pre-order it immediately, because it likely will continuously sell out for its first couple of months. Nonetheless, this is great news and should make things a lot smoother for fans anxious to get their hands on the highly anticipated PlayStation 5. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, I am on Patreon if you want to support me over there. Peace out.